Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mark with Spiguyver Backpacking. Today I'm out in the woods. I'm actually on a trip with Justin. He's set up behind you. You can't see him right now. But while I'm out here, I wanted to do the initial review, the initial look at my Warbonnet Blackbird XLC. Now this is mine. I went ahead and got it from Warbonnet, and so I'm out here testing it. I've got a couple of nights in it, and I really want to get a good test in it tonight out here in the woods, see how things work. So I've got it set up, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the details and some of the options you can do with this hammock. So let's do that. So this is one of those hammocks that people have been really wanting me to do a review on for a long time. There's one of the dream hammocks, either the Sparrow or the Raven, people keep asking about, the Chameleon and the Warbonnet Blackbird XLC. Because I have both a Sparrow and a Chameleon, I thought it was about time I went ahead and got a Warbonnet Blackbird XLC. The reason I went with the XLC and not just the Blackbird is that I lay head right, foot left, and you can't do that in a standard Warbonnet Blackbird. So I went with the XLC. The cool thing about the XLC, just like the Chameleon, is that you can take the top cover or bug net off, flip it over, and it becomes reversible. So you can go head either side, feet either side, and it's reversible just by taking off the fully zippered top cover, bug net, flipping it over. The pullouts that are here are also on the inside, so that when you flip it around, you've got them there, and it is completely reversible. Now, one of the things people really love about their Blackbird and also the Blackbird XLC is the shelf. And this does have the shelf, and I'll take you around in a minute and show you the shelf. But the shelf is a pretty good size area where you can store stuff while you're in the hammock. So if you don't need your phone and you don't want to use a ridgeline organizer, you can throw it in there. So let's take a look at some of the details of this hammock. So starting here, you've got the tag, and that's where you want to position your head. So where that tag is, you want to kind of have your head there, and then your feet go out, and you have the foot box area, which is kind of folded over right now because I don't have anything in there. But if you have your head here, that creates a very flat lay as long as you have your foot end higher than your head end. Now I go about a foot higher. You can see that here. It is significantly higher. They actually recommend 16 inches, and I've tried 16 and it doesn't quite work for me. So if you get one of these, play around with it and find what works for you. So it has zippers on both sides, so you can get in and out either side, which is a nice addition. And they go both ways, but they do meet in one spot. So they have to meet here every time. Now, I've seen that both as a good and a bad. I can't place them wherever I want, but I always know where they are. They're always in the same spot when it's closed. So for the pullouts, on both sides you have two pullouts on the bug net. So here and here. And they're just little mitten hooks that clip onto Grosgain loops. And then they come down, form a Y, and go out to your stake. And what that does is it pulls it out. And if we get a nice overview, like a shot from up above, you can see the shape that it makes. And it's kind of a unique, cool shape, but it pulls it out right where it needs to be. So kind of like on the Sheltoe, where it's pulled out not down at the zipper or the hammock body, but about 6 inches up on the bug net. Because it's pulled out there, it really works well to keep it up off of your face and give you a lot bigger feel inside. Like I said, the zipper runs all the way along both sides. And then at the ends, it comes together, and this is where the opening is. And you have a little mini beaner that keeps it taut up here. But here's where the ends of the zipper come apart. So you have this elastic strap right here, and you slide that down over the top, and that keeps it bunched up and keeps any bugs from coming in. Same thing on the other end. You can see it right down there. But if we go to the other side, so this is the footbox area. This is one of those unique features that people really like about this hammock. Now, if you were to look at the zipper line on this side, you can see it is a straight line. You know, it is just a completely straight line right there. Now, if you come over onto this side, you can see it dips right here. So there's added material on the bug net right here that when your feet are in there, it allows your feet to come out a little bit further right here and creates what people call the footbox. Then the next piece that people really like on these hammocks, you can see the hammock line is right there. You can see where the zipper is. So that's the normal hammock line. And then all the fabric from here down creates your shelf. So inside, you can set stuff all in this area and keep it organized while you're in the hammock. Again, there's pullouts on this side that go down to a stake. And just like on the other side, if you were to flip this over because you lay head right, these become your pullouts. What are now on the inside would be on the outside. So works really well. Come up here, and if we pull this off, again, you have where your zipper ends are, and you have your mini beaner. Well, I've got it a little bit tangled up right now, but there's your mini beaner that holds this taut. Now, in order to take that off, you just find where the zippers are. So you've got your zippers there and on the same side over there. So they're both at the same place, just on different sides. So one zipper goes up that end, one zipper goes up that end, and then you can pull off each side. You can replace that with a top cover if you'd like. So Warbonnet keeps it really simple. You have one fabric choice. This is a 1.7 nylon. You can either get it single layer or double layer. So one option there, single layer, double layer. The other thing you can do is change the color. So this is the olive brown and there's an olive green. Those are the only two colors they offer. Makes it really simple when ordering, and they found what works and they just stick with it. So let's take a look at this with the top cover on there. Before we take a look at this with the top cover on, right now I have the top completely off. It is just a netless hammock at this point. You've got your ridge line here, and you can see it is just a standard symmetrical hammock. There's nothing special about it in this configuration. It's completely symmetrical. It's all about the top cover, the shape of that, the way that it pulls out, and the shelf that's in there, along with the footbox area that it creates. That's really where the difference is on this thing. It's not in the actual hammock body itself. So let's go ahead and put the top cover on and take a look. So here is the Blackbird with the top cover on. So the one thing to note is, just like the Chameleon, this one has a dull side and a shiny side to the fabric. So this fabric is a water resistant, wind resistant, breathable fabric. Then if you look at the foot end, we have a pretty big vent down here. And since this end is so much higher, all of the warmth and condensation, well, mostly condensation, not so much all the warmth, but the condensation should come up here and go out, leaving you fairly condensation free. Again, a look from above, you can see the shape of this. You have a vent area right here that you can see out of, right where your zippers meet on your head side. Again, there's pullouts on both sides, inside and out, so that you can flip it over. Because of those mini beaners, you've just hooked up the loop from the top cover onto the beaner now in the same place that you did with the bug net. On this side, you have your shelf. And here you can see the area that makes up the shelf so that you can store stuff while you're inside. And to show you the difference, this one is the olive green. I wanted to have the olive brown body and olive green top cover so that you could see that. And then here you can really see, even in more detail, that footbox area, how there's added material that creates that that loop, that droop right there, so that you can put your feet in and have a nice area for your feet while you're laying in there. One additional feature I didn't show before, you have grow gain here, and you can see the shadow of it right there on the inside. When you are out and you don't want the cover on, you just want to sit in it and lounge, you can unzip one side, roll it over, and tie it back with those grow gain loops. Pretty cool. Now, Warbonnet does make one more option for this that I wanted to show you guys. I went ahead and got. So I've got the top cover, I've got the bug net. You can do it topless, or you can do something else. It can be used with any of the other pieces or alone, and that is an underquilt protector. So if you've got your underquilt on there and you're in a windy environment, sometimes having something that can go around the outside of it and keep it, you know, a little bit more wind resistant, keep the wind from going in there, can be really effective. And so one of the pieces that they've created for this is the underquilt protector. So let's take a look at that. So right now I have that underquilt protector on there, and it just ties to the continuous loop on each side. But it's kind of, in my opinion, using it by itself, it's kind of sloppy. I mean, if I'm honest, it's just kind of there, it's kind of floppy. I think it's actually going to act more as a wind catch than as a wind protector. However, that's with it being used the way that it's currently sitting. Now, when you're in there, it does tighten up a little bit. I will say that. It's not quite as loose and quite as floppy when you're in there and laying in it. It does take up some of the slack, but there's a much better way to use it, and you can do this with either the bug net or the top cover. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I just did was I unzipped this top cover from the hammock body, and there is a zipper on the underquilt protector. So I have now zipped the top cover directly to the underquilt protector, in essence creating a winter sock. The hammock is free floating inside of there with the underquilt on the hammock still. And so that gives you unlimited access to your underquilt at night without having to unzip and reach out. That's especially nice when it's a really cold night. You don't have to, you know, expose yourself to anything colder. You know, a lot of times the top cover is going to make it 10 to 15 degrees warmer inside of your hammock system. If you have to open that up to reach out and adjust your quilt, you're letting cold air in, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So this, just like a winter sock, is pretty much the ultimate way to go. And the versatility that this allows is just, it's awesome. So let's take a look inside at how the hammock floats inside of there and how this all works. So the underquilt that I'm using here is a little bit wider and more coverage than most underquilts. And that's one of the things I really like about it. However, because of it, it's sticking up higher than I need it to right now. And so I'm just going to pull it over a little bit. So that's a little bit better. So here you can see I'm laying here. I've got my head down here, and I've got this nice vent area. Let me finish zipping this up. And I can reach out and I can grab my underquilt, you know, anywhere I need to, no problem. Same on the other side, just reach over and grab it. Now there's still that cutout area right here that creates the foot box. And so as you can see, I'm laying very, very flat in here. And the other thing that I really like about it is because of that cutout, this foot isn't being pressed over. A lot of times, because of the tension on this seam, on this zipper area here, it's got my left foot kind of turned in like this, okay? But because of this extra area, there's no tension on my foot. And so my foot can actually flop kind of outwards a little bit and not have any problem there. And that's something I really, really like. Right here is the shelf area. So you can see the shelf area right here. So if I wanted to, I could throw my hat down in there and it just kind of disappears down in there. No problem whatsoever. It's really nice. So this is one of the favorite hammocks that's out there. And there's a pretty good reason for it. I mean, it is a comfortable hammock. It's one that has a lot of thought behind the design. And, you know, that's why they don't have a lot of options. They've pretty much perfected what it is they want to do, and that's what they do. And, you know, it works. It works really well. And so tonight, I'm going to get a good night in it and give you guys a little bit more thought on it. But this is a really cool system, and it is warm in here right now. I'll tell you that. With this under quilt under me, and then this thing set up with the winter sock mode, it's probably a little too much. I'm going to go back to the bug net for tonight, and I'm going to be using that 0 degree Hammock Gear 950 custom quilt that I had Adam make for me. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and talk to you back outside because it's a little warm. So this is my Warbonnet Blackbird XLC. I'm going to be using it on more trips, getting out, getting a few more nights in it to really push it a little bit, test it, see what I like and what I dislike about it. And so this is one of the favorites out there. And so at some point there will be a comparison video with this, my Dream Hammock Sparrow, and the Chameleon, a kind of side-by-side, pluses and minuses, comfort, personal, and I want to get out on a test, on a trip where I can take a couple other people and every night we can switch hammocks and get a little bit of input from everybody on their thoughts on the different hammocks. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me today. I will be coming back with a more long-term review after I get some more time in this thing, but I wanted to show this to you and show you the features of it and how this thing works. Thanks, guys. I'll see you down the trail.